All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are live on the air, full effect, right here with one of the best of the best artists in the underground. We got Down Pat on the line. How you doing this evening?
Oh man, doing great, man. No complaints. That's a hell of an intro, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, man, you're most certainly welcome, man. Like I said, dude, and I meant what I said during that intro as well, man. I've really been digging your music. It's been actually playing here on the radio station, and my listeners been eating it up, man. So you keep making it, and I'm most definitely gonna keep spinning it.
Man, thank you. I appreciate you.
You're most certainly welcome, man. But I want to ask you, man. I want to take you right back to the beginning. Like, what made you decide to get into the music industry?
Oh man, I started out as a fan first. I think a lot of us did. Came up in a time, long story short, where there was a lot of styles, a lot of different artists out there, and I just sat back and just absorbed it, man, because the game was very competitive. So there was a lot to take in, man. And then I guess as I got into being just a listener on the sidelines, I started messing around freestyling a little bit. You know what I mean? Getting half decent and did a couple battles. You know what I'm saying? Just in some ciphers and held my own, man. And it just kind of flourished from there.
So I have to ask you, like, when you said you did some like freestyles and whatnot, did you ever get into like battle rapping or anything along those lines?
I mean, I would say just in your general ciphers, some of the little clubs and little spots around the city. Nothing on like an actual battle card or anything like they have in the leagues now, but that wasn't really prevalent as much. It was more in the streets or just ciphers and like I said, clubs and stuff like that, little music joints around the city.
And also, you were signed to the Death Entertainment. I have to ask you, how did that record deal come to be for you, and what is it like working for that particular label currently?
Well, technically, it's really just a nameplate of my own. It's not really an actual record company. It's just kind of a plate that I go under. You know what I mean? Kind of my own little entertainment joint. But not signed. I'm completely independent at the moment. And yeah, man.
Hey, well, you know what? Sometimes being independent is the best route to go because a lot of record companies, man, they're shisty. They'll try and take your music, take your royalties, take what you own, man. So sometimes as being independent is the best route to go.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? Definitely. Just gotta educate yourself.
And I also saw that you have a song called "Soul Searching" with a former guest that actually came on the radio station a few days ago, On Point. I have to ask you, how did you and On Point get connected, and what is it like working with him?
Oh man, that's my guy, man. We've been probably holding it down, I'd say, for about the last 4 or 5 years. And kind of sum that up, we both kind of got in contact with each other off of a joint that T-Rock did. It was called Independence Day. He was doing them annually every year. He'd do a compilation of unsigned artists. And Point heard some of my music that was featured on the record on one of the slots, and he reached out to me at the time, and he was like, yo, I'm digging the music, and we just kind of got around to Lincoln from there, man. And we did a song called Overnight, me, him, and Fire from Snap Mode Click, and we lit that up, you know what I'm saying? And from there, the next joint we did was a song with MC Mac from the Cosby, formerly of Prophet Posse, Hypnotized Camp Posse, 36 Mafia's label. So from there on, we just flourished. We actually did a whole record with T-Rock, myself, and then Snap Mode Clip called Grind Life, which is available right now on all digital platforms and outlets. You can check that out. Excellent album. Me and On Point for Soul Searching. That was our little EP we did after Grind Life. All the beats are produced by Billion Beats Productions. They actually used to be with T-Rock at the time under his label, Rock Solid Music. And we did that EP, and we also did another one with myself and Snap Mode Click, which was more like a mixtape that's available as well, a free mixtape called Snap It On Beats, where we basically took all of the beats that were popular at that time. It was around 2014, 15, and kind of just lit them up, did our thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, you and On Point have done like tons of work together. Like, do you guys have anything in store for the future? Anything that you guys are currently cooking up together?
Oh, man, absolutely. I mean, Point's been busy with his own ventures right now. I mean, for instance, if nobody's heard Ascension, that's his solo record, man. Y'all need to go get that ASAP. Definitely one of the best records that came out in 2019, and probably better than anything you're going to pick up out right now, in my opinion. So if you haven't got Ascension, you need to go get that. And point now have some things in the work after he finishes his new EP that he's working on, his new solo joint called PTSD. So you guys definitely got to check that out. But we got stuff coming down the pike for sure.
And one thing I saw on your Instagram, man, I saw a picture of you and Crazy Bone of Bone Thugs and Harmony. I have to ask you, can you tell us a story behind that picture, and what was it like actually meeting Crazy Bone?
Brother, that's a bucket list moment right there, man. Actually got a chance to see him perform on the Thug Mentality tour he was doing here in Orlando, Florida. You know what I'm saying? And of course, he did his thing. You know what I mean? Got the, link up with a little meet and greet afterwards. You know what I mean? Got to shake the man's hand, tell him I appreciate, everything he did for music, everything he did to inspire me. And it was a humbling moment, to say the least. And I actually got to meet one of his artists under the Life Entertainment, Kane. He's also a dynamite artist. If you haven't heard of him, you absolutely need to check him out. Kane and I linked up and did a song that you can actually listen to right now. That's available on all digital markets and outlets right now on platforms. It's Kane, myself, On Point of the Snap Mode Click, and OG Tech. That song is called Gotta Have It. If you haven't heard that, man, you need to go check it out right now. So that kind of, cooked up through that meet and greet with Crazy. And, yeah, man, just a humbling moment.
Most definitely, man. And it's always cool when you get the opportunity to meet your heroes that really, inspired you to get into what you're doing, man. So, you can most definitely tell in that picture you were nervous, but you were loving it.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm pretty straightforward if I'm nervous or not. I've had some fan moments for sure, but I wasn't really nervous, man. It was just amazing to meet the guy because his energy, his vibe was so humbling. He didn't really treat you like the GOAT that he is, like he could have. You know what I mean? Some artists are kind of put off by you because they're just trying to get out of there. They've been on tour for months. You know what I mean? But I mean, the guy was just humble, man. His vibe, his energy was great. He's just a GOAT, man. I just absolutely would love to work with the dude one day for sure.
And I also noticed that you done work with another phenomenal artist named Rez. I have to ask you, how did you actually get connected with Rez, and what was it like working with him?
Oh, man, Rez the Sovereign. Let me just put it to you like this. Rez and I grew up back when I was like, I'd say back in 9th grade. I mean, we're talking 1997. Rez and I go way back. I knew Rez before he even started rapping, and I was back and forth between Orlando, Florida, and South Florida by, Broward County, Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, Miami area. And I came back down there a couple years later, and my dude Rez was, a jack of all trades, making the beats, the engineering, impeccable wordplay. This man is a wordsmith. You want to talk about an MC to the fullest? I put Rez the Sovereign up against any MC that you got to offer. This guy is flawless. That's my guy.
Do you guys have anything currently in the works at all? Because I gotta say, Rez is a phenomenal artist, man. In my opinion, he's literally a lyrical assassin.
Yeah, actually, we got some stuff to check out. We got a lot of free stuff right now. We haven't really dropped an official record, even though these mixtapes, in my opinion, can hold up to some of your favorite underground records, man. We have one called Sacrificial Lions that's on, SoundCloud, YouTube. You can look that up. It's free. You know what I mean? It's almost 20 tracks, when we used to actually put out that many songs on records, when people had the time. But look for Sacrificial Lions. We actually have another one, a more recent one from 2019. That project is called the R&D Project. That's available right now on SoundCloud and YouTube for free as well. Another dynamite. That's an EP, though. That's only about 8 tracks, but phenomenal EP. And then, of course, in the works right now, we have our exclusive record that Rez is actually doing all of the beat production on, and that's going to be the follow-up to the R&D project, and that's titled Lab Work. So that's coming real, real shortly. That's going to be a nasty project right there. So keep an eye out for that.
And also, October of last year, you actually dropped one of my favorite videos of yours that I have actually currently watched. And it's called Eat or Starve. I have to ask you, what's the story and inspiration behind that song, man? Because that's such a powerful meaning, just a song name by itself.
Well, first of all, thank you, man. I appreciate that because it means a lot to me. You know what I mean? And it's just at the time, that was my mentality. I was doing my solo record that's available now on all platforms. Any digital outlets you can look right now. It's called Coping is the name of the record, and that song meant a lot to me as well. Most of the tracks on there. It was a very personal record for me. And just at the time, man, sometimes you have to kind of motivate yourself because people don't really share your vision. You know what I mean? And you can get discouraged, and a lot of people fall off when things get rough like that. And sometimes you just gotta pump yourself up when no one else wants to believe in you. So either starve is just believe in yourself, man. When no one believes you, go and do it. Get it done. They'll see you later when things start popping off, though.
And when you actually just mentioned about your album Coping, I have to ask you, excuse me, sorry, where can our listeners actually buy or stream themselves a copy of that particular record?
Oh, that record's available. You can go on iTunes, Spotify. It's on everything. Deezer. I mean, pretty much any digital outlet or market. If you're looking for a hard copy, if you do the physical copies, I'm a little bit from the old school, so we like to have the hard copies in our hands. So if you want one of those, just direct message me. I'll send all the links at the links at the end of the interview. But yeah, any digital outlet where you buy or stream music, that record's there.
Oh, most definitely, man. It's really cool that you actually do the hard copy work as well, because a lot of individuals, man, they don't really have the hard copies. Me personally, I love hard copies. I'd rather wait a week to
Absolutely.
get it in the mail, man, because like nothing's better than holding the CD, actually being able to look at the thank you notes. Holding the CD, to me, that's music, man. You get to feel it 10 times more.
Oh, I couldn't agree anymore, man. I'm a hip hop junkie. I'm a music junkie in general, but hip hop mostly, of all different coasts, man. And I mean, you could see my CD catalog of, you look at my catalog, you'll see exactly where I'm at as far as how much I love hip hop music, man. You can't tell from the music itself.
And also, I saw that you are working on a brand new album, actually called Protagonist. If I got that wrong, my apologies. But it's actually to be released this year. Can you tell us a bit more about that album and what can our listeners expect from that?
Absolutely, and you nailed it with the title. It's Protagonist, and leave it to me to have some kind of wordy title instead of just something typical. You know what I mean? I like to try
Hey
to
man, it makes it one of a
create it
kind.
like that for people to research. But Protagonist, the whole premise of that record is to follow up to Coping, and of course, it's always going to be conscious, but I didn't want it to be as personal per se as Coping was. You know what I mean? And give it a little different flavor, so it'll be a little more upbeat. A little bit more transition of sounds, trying to incorporate some more melodies and things like that. The title is more so like a protagonist is the main individual in a storyline. However, that doesn't necessarily make them good or bad, but you could take it however you want. You could be the hero, you could be the villain, you could be the hero or villain of your own story in your own mind. So, it's kind of like my own brain, whatever I have in my own brain, I guess. Kind of like all of us, man. You're the center of your story, you know what I'm saying?
Almost definitely. And the one thing I do notice, man, that you actually you actually did a song with one of my favorite artists of all time, which is Mr. Serv-On of No Limit Records. I have to
Yeah,
ask you, how did you
yeah.
get connected with Serv-On, and what was it like working with him, man?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I've never had a chance to meet this man in person, but I grew up just like you did, listening to this man, you know what I mean? When I was just growing up a huge No Limit fan. And the first time I reached out to Serv-On was for the song Coping, which is the title song for the Coping solo record that I did, that we discussed earlier. And at the time, he had just lost a very, very close person and friend in his life, man. And I sent the track over to him, and he loved it. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, we didn't really have too much direct dialogue. It was more like a lot of relationships musically are right now, where it's all through DMs and email, et cetera, et cetera. But after we laced that record, him and I actually got to speak on the phone, and from that point on, we've spoken several times. And the main thing I can say about this dude is this is one of the few artists that actually live up to your expectations, not just as an artist, but as a person. You know what I'm saying? He's a great businessman. He's fair. You know what I'm saying? He's just a good dude, and he's everything that you would expect to look up to for a platinum artist. You know what I mean? He's just a real humble dude, man. My big salute to Serv-On. That's the dude right there, man.
I actually have him coming up on the radio station actually this week, man. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm also excited, right? I know once the microphone turns on, I go into DJ interview mode, but the fan part of me is like, Mr. Serv-On, yeah.
Yeah. Well, be excited for sure, man. It's a wonderful moment, but I can tell you right now that the man's energy, you know what I'm saying? He's so humble when he doesn't even need to be. Man, it flows. He talks to you like a normal human being. He don't talk down to anybody as long as you give him respect. You know what I'm saying? He's a solid dude, man. So it's gonna be a great moment for sure. Also, for everybody listening, on Coping on my solo record that we talked about earlier, available now. He's on the title track, Coping, but Serv-On's also featured on Ain't Your Homies, which is another track that I think a lot of people can feel in his music and just life in general. You know what I mean? So I had a chance to work with him twice on that, and we actually are in the works putting together a little EP joint, which is a huge bucket list item for me to actually do a record with the man. So keep your eyes out for that, because that EP will be revealed shortly.
So I have to ask you, what is next for Down Pat? Is there anything else we missed? Anything else you still want to promote? Will we still have you here live on the air?
Brother, there's a lot of stuff, and I'll try to keep it short, man, so I don't snatch up too much of your time. But
Hey,
right
man,
now,
I have all night, man, so take your time, man.
I appreciate you, man. There's a single right now that's being advertised called "My Calling." This song is very relevant to what's going on right now, just in general in the world, and it's just a dynamite song, one of them timeless pieces, in my opinion. And I had the chance to actually work with two artists that are on this single, Serv-On and T-Rock, formerly of Prophet Posse, Hypnotized Minds. And to have these two dudes on the same song, you know what I mean, as well as Mrs. Melanie Rutherford, phenomenal female vocalist. I mean, this song I can't wait for y'all to hear it, man. That's the single that we're working on right now that may actually be available on the upcoming EP with myself and T-Rock. That's entitled Reciprocity. That should be out very soon, so keep an eye out for that. This single may be on that and or Protagonist for the remix or whatnot. Not sure yet. But keep an eye out for that single, and me and T-Rock's EP called Reciprocity. Me and Serv-On's EP that we're doing, that's untitled right now. And also in the works, keep an eye out, myself, On Point of Snap Mode Click, OG Tech. We have several tracks we've already worked on. We're in the middle of putting together an EP for you as well with the three of us. So we got a lot of stuff coming with that, man. So just keep an eye out. I mean, there's a lot of stuff working.
So this is time in the interview there, Down Pat, that I give a chance for the individual that comes on the radio station. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to. And if you can, drop them social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and your musical journey if they're not already doing so.
Brother, definitely got to give shouts out to Rez the Sovereign. That's my guy. Jay Corenzai, Knowledge the Don, On Point, OG Tech, the whole Snap Mode Click, Chris Style, solid dude, great artist, Mr. Ski, K-Fix, and man, there's anybody I miss, man, don't forgive me.
And if you want to, can you drop them social media handles? So that way our listeners can follow you and check more of your music out.
Oh man, absolutely. For Instagram, it's downpat the number 2, the word the deaf, ENT for entertainment. So downpat to the deaf, ENT. For Facebook, it's downpat the number 2, the word the deaf. So downpat to the deaf.
And I want to say, Down Pat, man, thank you so much again for coming up on the radio station and just providing us a bit of your time, man. It was an absolute honor and most definitely a privilege, and I'm hoping that down the road we can make this happen again for sure.
Oh man, the pleasure is mine, the honor is mine, brother. I appreciate you for reaching out, man. You're doing wonderful things, and keep on doing what you're doing, man. I see you, brother. I see you.
I appreciate you, man, and you as well, man. Reach out if you need anything, any type of promoting, anything along those lines. Don't hesitate to reach out. I got you.
Certainly, appreciate it.
You're most certainly welcome, man. Have yourself a wonderful night.
Yes, sir. Salute.